one has gone white, and the whole finish is lost its colour.
With the curls they got on the brown, they sort of got straight lines in some places. Then you've got these other funny, strange
shapes,
curves.
And they're supposed to be there.
It's supposed to be like that, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just everywhere else you've sort of got fairly
flowing.
Well,
you might be right, you know.
Sorry?
You might be right. We could even that out of there.
Well, before we start sanding it and cleaning it all up, it's whether you just want a round feather, because you've got like a ridge here.
Yeah, it would be better to have it smoother.
Okay, well,
yeah, that's a bad one. If this came down,
that's okay.
Across there and across here would be better.
Yeah, I mean it'll be a blend out. Because hopefully I'll have two spray guns. As soon as I put the green on here, I'll put the brown on at the same time, so it'll blend into each other.
Yeah. Right.
Because this won't be painted green. This will be just left like it is. We're only doing the green will come up to here, and then the brown will just come into that.
That's right.
Here, to get the right colour, so we're doing the colour matching, which is obviously with you guys. We actually put a bit of Vaseline on it. We clean this up with a nylon pad, and that's actually Vaseline, and that gives you your true colour. So when we're matching up, that's what we're matching up to, not to that part there. Yeah, it's deteriorated. Same on the greenish end here. Okay. We can't sand these panels, basically anywhere, because even these parts here is very, very light on with the amount of material. If we do try to sand these things here, you'll find it goes through pretty quickly. There's a lot of Humpty Dumptys in the metal. Yeah. And all these rivets, if you start sanding, you'll go through them quite quickly. Yeah. You see it's taken it off there, but nowhere else. Yeah. And even on the main part of the area, you can see where the high spots are. Of course, you would start to go through there straight away. Yeah. Yeah. Where it's chipped like this part here, we'll be sanding these parts here out. Yeah. But when we be doing that, we keep it smaller. And we work backwards. Just a bit of pressure. Let the sandpaper do its work. And we just get rid of that sharp edge. And then we'll just come around and we'll put some primer on it, which I've already done in this area here. This was all chipped around here, and I just tried out the primer they've given me.
So you want to stay off the heads of the rivets?
Definitely, because you're taking the paint off for starters. Yeah. So the water-based paint that we're going to be using on top of the paint that's already here, when you've taken it off the metal, I'll have to put a bit of primer on it. Yeah. Even if I go around with a paintbrush with the paint. Okay, we've got your leather gloves for you guys, because these nylon pad or scone pads,
your only payment.
They will
bring them next week.
If you're working on that all day, you'll damage your fingers. So we've gone ahead and bought you some gloves. And we're using the green or the red. The red's actually coarser than the green, but depending on how much of the old paint's on the surface, if it's coming off with the green, we'll just go with the green. If it's not coming off too well,
so all we're doing is roughing the old paint off?
Just taking all that loose stuff there, and using nylon, it goes into all the little nooks and crannies. And around these things here, we'll probably cut these in half so you'll find that where they've actually spot welded it together. This one here, I don't know if you can see that in the light. The little shiny bits. Yeah. Can you guys pick that up? You see that? Yeah. Now, where it is spot welded, you're going to have to get your thumb and actually just get in there and make sure that all those shiny bits are gone without going over the edges as much as you can.
So what happens here when you get over the edge and you take that back to the metal? You've got to prime it.
I would have to prime that. Because these are being taken off and out, well, in and out continuously, we've probably got very little paint in here. So this will be one part that'll be primed right around. Stand there. We've got some wire brushes we brought along, and we've got different types. Prefer to use a brass one if we can, but if it's really awkward to get in or it's not doing the job, we just get right into that groove. And that goes for all these joints. Just need to run it through just very quickly. The problem here is if we don't take that bit of dusting or that loose bit of paint off there, you'll get a bridge across there with the paint, but then eventually it will shrink. Now, all around these screws and everything there, same thing. You're not going to get the nylon pad around there too well, so we just give it a tool around there just to take off any loose bits. You don't have a lot of screws on there. It's only the removable panels. Yeah, yeah. So when we come across them, we need to give them a good rub around. Don't press too hard with these because you bend all the hairs on them. So just enough to get that clean out through the centre there. And the thing is that the paint will stick to it quite well, but it's all clean. If we don't clean it properly, well, we're going to have problems later on. So this is where all the preparation is. Yes. I mean, it's no different when I'm painting the car. I have to get it nice and clean, use the right sort of sandpapers for it to adhere. But here we're going to use the scouring pads.
I notice on the flush rivets on the wing there's quite a few that have got a little skull of corrosion around there that's standing up. Do you want to cut that down without taking any more off? Or?
Well, yeah, we'll have to get around that. Same thing. We've got the steel ones also, and that may.
But the ridge, you want to take the ridge off with the sanding pad first, do you?
That won't take a ridge off.
No.
That doesn't take no metal off.
Some of that's very flaky, it just comes off.
If it's flaky,
the rivets on the wings.
Yes.
If it's flaky,
that's my fault because my wife and I and our 3 kids riveted the aeroplane with pop rivets, flat pop rivets, and then we filled the round hole in the centre, and that's what that is. And I do need somebody, when the aeroplane was put together, when it came to the Aviation Museum, and the top cow was put on, one of these Dutch fasteners was broken off, and I need a riveter. And it's right up on the top cow to put it back before the aeroplane's painted. Who does?
We can do that.
You're a riveter now.
Well, nearly. Yeah. I am.
Peter Ship.
Peter Ship, right. Okay.
it's no problem. Okay. Guys, can I just have you over here for a minute?
Yes, right. Oh, they want you over here.
Where's all my students?
They're coming.
These rivets on this part of the plane, they're quite pronounced.
Yeah.
So when we're working around these things here, we're going to have to be very careful. We sort of go around in a circle, so you're going to have to spend a bit of time with these.
Yeah.
Probably more with the brass brush.
Well, brush, yes.
Yeah, and just go around that, so get that white bit off, because that white bit is actually some sort of residue. Have you used polish on this plane at all?
Yes.
Yes.
We used wax.
Wax.
I did. We did. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have to get that, get that white off.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
got no silicon in it, though.
Wax is enough, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Probably one of the easiest, the most relaxing jobs
ready
in
to
the
go?
whole place.
Give out your love.